as an old saying has it.
Hi everyone, this is audap. Hey, let's go back and continue our game of Dry Drowning on Nintendo Switch. Okay, oh boy, it's been since March since we played this. Oh man. Now this game comes up with, or for multiple nominations for awards, so yeah, I figured it's got some good stuff in there. Might as well give it more of a chance, right? Let's see, facts of the case. Alright, first things first. We know the victim's eyeballs were carefully removed after she died. These were found inside her mouth, which were cruelly sewn up. Right, what's your point? Baker can't be responsible for such vile actions because he had no reason to do it, he didn't have the skills to do it, he didn't have enough time. He didn't have the skills to do it. Tell me, Freya, could you remove someone's eyeballs with the same level of accuracy as the killer? What kind of question is that? Mordred is right. Removing eyeballs with such accuracy is anything but simple. Only someone with great surgical skills could do it. Mr. Baker is definitely not a surgeon, and I believe he lacks the guts to do such things anyway. Removing eyeballs and sewing mouths, not an everyday activity, is it? Especially if it's about an old politician, living in luxury. Besides, according to your version, Baker is supposed to have a wound on his hand. Surgery with a wounded hand? Totally unrealistic, if you ask me. Perhaps you have a point, but it's not enough to clear Baker yet. At least this suggests that he had an accomplice. An accomplice that the witness claims not to have seen. I get what you mean, but that's not the problem here. What are you talking about? Your colleague reported that, after removing the eyeballs and sewing up the mouth, after a short struggle during which he had his hand wounded, Baker undressed the woman and tied her to the tree. Then he arranged flowers and her hair. This probably took a few hours. Can you confirm this is your official version? Yes, it is. Don't you think we're missing something? I'm not sure. The evidence that was omitted is... it's the lead arrow. A heavy arrow found in the victim's chest. Its size and weight suggests it was lodged in after her death, caused by the slit in her throat. Let's use that one. The lead arrow? Precisely. This arrow is fundamental to solving the case. I have reasons to believe that Baker got to the crime scene when it had already happened. And why would you assume that? I think the suspect saw the body of his lover. He panicked and tried to remove the arrow. The victim had her throat cut, so what's the point of removing the arrow from her body? Look closely. The cut on her throat is completely covered by the head, and the blood poured directly on the wound inflicted by the arrow. So what? Just think about it. Baker gets here and sees his lover's body. He notes the arrow, the bleeding wound, and he panics. Then he tries to pull the arrow out to save her, maybe yelling at her or hoping that she's still alive. That would be silly. Not if you're completely panicking. Anyway, your version of events don't make sense. There were no fingerprints on the arrow, and there's no way Baker could have tried to pull it out. You're wrong. Baker left no fingerprints because of this evidence. And we found a well-crafted leather glove with a big cut in the middle. There's some dried blood on the sides of the cut, suggesting a potential connection between this object and the crime scene. Sounds like the thing. Gloves are amazing, aren't they? Discreet, no fingerprints. Where the hell did you find that? Right here, under the nose of our infallible and omnipresent police force. You're just a liar, Foley. I knew I shouldn't have listened to you. Do you think that your men had no reason to hide it? Tell me, how many would like to see Mr. Baker behind bars, and how many can you trust? Hiding something so important in plain sight. Classic. Especially if previously arranged. Also, the cut on the glove suggests there was a fight, but it happened in a completely different way. The suspect was probably attacked from behind while he was trying to pull out the arrow. He instinctively turned around and tried to protect his face with his hand. So he got wounded. At that point, he tried to run away, but he didn't get far.
And what makes you believe that?
There is evidence that shows that the escape attempt immediately ended. And I think... Let's see, that's my VR goggles. And wreck bench. This wood bench was destroyed after the collision with something very heavy. Bloodstains on one side are a few days old, so probably the broken bench. While running away, Baker was thrown against the bench.
Ending up destroying it, apparently. That makes sense.
And I bet the blood on the bench is Baker's, for sure.
And how do you explain what happened next?
What the?
The attacker allegedly allowed Baker to run away, an eyewitness who's condemning him? Are you implying that an injured old man can run faster than a merciless killer?
Who is she?
This is Abigail Sherman, the eyewitness of Alicia's murder.
Abigail Sherman. You cannot escape from a prison with no bars. Psychological profile. Abigail is a rebellious girl who deeply hates the established system of Nova Polemus. Shy and introverted, she has bared with grief and sorrow for a very long time. Biography. Born in a wealthy, old-fashioned family, Abigail never accepted to be subject to their strict rules, unlike her sister Anne. Because of this, she was disinherited at the age of 17. Now she entirely depends on her sister, and she has to live with her in the same house of Richard Baker, whom she believes to represent all that is rotten in Nova Palamos. She's...
What is it? A detective? Not feeling well? What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. Crushing your creative hypothesis made you uncomfortable?
Quite the contrary, miss. You just opened my eyes.
What are you talking about?
Now, excuse me. I have an important meeting. You'll be hearing from me soon, Freya.
Hey, where the hell are you going? What an idiot. And I was even listening to him. Why did you run off?
A scary mask appeared on Abigail's face. And this means that our dear witness is lying. The Mask of Lies, excerpt from the psychiatric evaluation of Mordred Foley. I'll be straight with you, Professor. Every time someone lies to me, some sort of animal mask appears on their face, while space and reality look distorted. Never figured out the origin of this waking nightmare, and honestly don't care. Right now, I just want you to stop telling me that no one is ever going to listen to this conversation.
How can you tell I was lying?
Or how can you tell that you're lying? Take a guess.
One of those masks again? You think she might be the killer?
Not necessarily. She could be an accomplice, or maybe someone who's trying to frame the subject. We need more evidence before interrogating her, and we need to hear Baker first.
Maybe he will explain how he managed to survive.
He should be at the police station. Let's pay him a visit.
Okay, but first, I need to talk to you. Come back to the office as soon as you can.
I'll be back when I get the chance. In the meantime, I'll put the evidence in order. Useless evidence has been removed from your inventory. New destination police station available. Okay, police station. Homicide department. Half the people who work here want to see me dead.
Only half? You're underestimating your talent, Detective.
What the...
You're the last person I expected to see here, Foley.
David? Don't tell me you need your favorite lawyer again. I'd rather spend 4 more years in court than hear your stupid jokes. Ah, David Casey's law and arrogance are the same thing. Psychological profile. David's nature is characterized by a strong personal ambition which, together with his charisma and his silver tongue, helped him become one of the most famous defense attorneys of the entire city. Biography. Casey was born and raised in a low-class family, and since he was very young, he has been fighting to raise his status. Known for accepting some of Nova Palomos' most controversial cases, David successfully defended Detective Foley, earning his exoneration for lack of evidence. I saved you from the electric chair, and that's how you thank me? I'm disappointed, my friend. Not your friend, and honestly, I don't care. I'm here for Richard Baker. Any idea where he could be? Of course, my client just got out of the interrogation room. He's on the phone now, but he'll be here soon, I guess. Client? Great. Are you going to settle with 30 years of prison for him too? Oh, come on. Are you still upset about that? And to think that I'm the one who mentioned your name to the Black Bands. Well, thank you for putting me in this mess then. I know, I'm such a big-hearted man, but then again, I've always been a fan of lost causes. By the way, before you two have a talk, I should probably share some information with you. What kind of information? Let's start from the beginning. Working with Black Bands. How did you end up with the Black Bands? You said you hated their political ideas. Someone once said, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Besides, money and ideals are two completely different things. And you should know what I mean better than anyone. Baker situation. How's Baker? Keeping up appearances, but he's visibly upset. His left arm is full of bruises. The injury on his right hand is more serious than expected. Probably he won't be able to move his fingers for a while. Interesting. See, the wound that Baker suffered is very deep, causing his hand to be completely unusable. Eternal evidence that, once again, the king is fully naked. The trial. You probably know this, but people still have no idea that my client is under investigation for the murder at Treasury Park. However, this won't last for long. As soon as the news spreads, the consequences for Baker and his party will be catastrophic. What makes you think that? There's hardly any crimes in the city, and even fewer murders. That's why this whole case is a ticking bomb. And then there's Mrs. Baker, on the verge of breakdown. She does believe that after her husband's lover, they will kill her too. Ah, love. What a wonderful thing. Yeah. On second thought, that woman could shed some light on Baker's relationship with Abigail. I can give you his address, but be careful. Don't say too much, or you're going to make a mess. And the last thing we want is her blowing the whistle to the media. Remember, I can protect you from judges and journalists. I can protect you from... but no one can escape the Black Band's revenge. Don't worry, though. I'm sure that a sweet guy like you will be able to cheer her up. Well, I suppose it's time for you to talk to your beloved party leader. But first, I need to ask you something about Treasury Park. A little birdie told me that someone found a piece of evidence that has not been reported to the police. You've no idea who this person might be, have you? Maybe he's talking about the glove I found. And that would help him in the trial, but I'd risk getting Freya into trouble. What should I do? Oh, do I want to stay on Freya's good side? I'll keep the evidence to myself. I'm not exactly the noble character. Sorry, I know nothing about it. That's too bad. I could have sworn you were that person, but I guess I was wrong. Am I really risking to be investigated for withholding evidence just to save Freya's face? Harrow's influence is making me soft. Ah, perfect timing. My dear Mordred, this
Or, my dear Mordred, this is Richard Baker, party leader of the Black Bands.
Oh. Detective Foley, we finally meet. The pleasure's mine, Mr. Baker. Sorry to bother you, but I really need to ask you some questions. You're a man who goes straight to the point, I see. I just went through 4 hours of interrogation, but I suppose some more questioning won't kill me. Besides, as you know, there's no rest for the wicked.
Then I'll leave you lovebirds alone. If you need anything, do not hesitate to contact me.
Shall we start, Detective? I'm curious to know what you want from me.
Let's see. Inventory, documents, biographies, map, diary, system. Let's speak. The Black Band's politics.
You're considered one of the moderate members of the party. Why so?
Because, unlike most of my colleagues, I don't discriminate against people of a different race, gender, or religion. It all depends on what they're worth, and this is defined by the Patterson test, which we introduced more than 20 years ago. Patterson test. Every 5 years, the citizens of Nova Palamos must take the Patterson test. It consists of multiple questions aimed at assessing the IQ and the individual skills of each person. Obtaining a high score brings several advantages, such as better job positions, more freedom on the internet, and free access to medical facilities. In the city, there are many institutes that offer courses to prepare people for the test. They are usually attended by older people who usually have higher chances to fail the test.
Oh, the Patterson test, I see. You mean that sort of exam that collects everyone's private info, like individual skills, earnings, country of origin, and which political party they support? Listen to me, Mr. Foley. If you think we can share the resources of Nova Palamos with everyone, you're just a fool.
Uncontrolled immigration, poor education, and the opinion of illiterate people are the reasons behind the threat of collapse. Nova Palamos was built on ambition, and I won't let some deadbeat parasites destroy our little paradise.
I'm starting to think that you're exploiting education to create your personal army of puppets.
You may disagree with our vision, Detective, but let me remind you that your future is bound to mine. If I fail, you're going down with me. So please stop acting like a mad dog.
Let's see. Facts of the case. Mr. Baker, need to hear your version of the facts. Please describe what happened that night, and try to be as accurate as possible.
Alicia contacted me a few days earlier. She was threatening to reveal our affair to the press if I refused to keep supporting her. She asked to meet me at Treasury Park to discuss the terms of our agreement, and I had to accept without saying a word. I got there on time. I just wanted this to be over once and for all. When I arrived, she was already tied to that tree, and someone killed her. I yelled at her, hoping that she was still alive, and I panicked so much that I tried to pull out that heavy arrow. Suddenly, someone attacked me from behind and hit my hand with a knife while I was trying to defend myself. I tried to run, but after a few steps I was thrown against the bench. I got hurt and I fainted. I was sure I was going to die. Before losing consciousness, though, I heard someone screaming, maybe a girl, and then it all goes blank.
A girl screaming?
I woke up, like 10 minutes later, and I was left alone with the corpse. The attacker had disappeared.
What the hell?
So I took the opportunity to get away and call for help. You know the rest.
Okay, so he saw the attacker. The victim. Could you describe your relationship with Alicia?
Alicia. She was young and naive. Maybe too naive.
Alicia Hart, you are never too young to die. Psychological profile. Alicia is an impulsive and emotional girl. Despite her sweet and motherly personality, her disappointment towards the country's politics made her reticent and distrustful of people she doesn't know. Biography. Daughter of a painter and a humble pharmacist, she could never fulfill her childhood dreams to study filmmaking, so she decided to quit school right after graduation. She does odd jobs for a living while dreaming of entering the movie business. There was a fire within her. She wanted to be an artist and a director, but she could not afford any school in Nova Palamos. She used to wander
around the city while filming places and people with a 50-year-old camera, hoping to make a name for herself, to become someone. And why would someone like her decide to bond with the leader of the Black Bands? The flesh is weak, and ambition never comes from innocence. She was beautiful, and I was able to give her what she wanted. You can figure out the rest. Something wrong, detective? I noticed something interesting while you were talking. What do you mean? You talked about the case, your party, and the victim. You talked about the case, however, you never said anything about one of the most important actors in this huge farce. And I believe that's no coincidence. I don't understand. The person you've been omitting on purpose is... Abigail. Yeah, let's do that. The very same person that's testifying against you. Abigail. What does she have to do with this? You should tell me that. What are you trying to imply? Abigail is testifying against me. Why the hell should I defend her? It's my life at stake, not hers. Just as I thought. Baker is lying, and the mask proves it. Before I interrogate him, I need more evidence on Abigail and Alicia. I might get something from his wife. I should also go back and tell Hera what I found. Please forgive my manners, Mr. Baker. I've gone too far. Yeah? What's this sudden U-turn, Mr. Foley? Well, don't worry. If you need me, you will find me right here. Just don't take too long to find the truth, or whatever could get me out of here. Need more evidence to expose Baker. You may find it by exploring unlocked locations or interrogating other characters. Alright. Let's go back to talk to Hera. Oh, Mordred. You're back. I hope you don't mind if I put some music on. I remember this song. You composed it when we started our agency. Indeed, I wanted to relive the thrill I felt in creating something of my own. Now that we might lose everything, these memories are all I have. When I think of those days, I realize that we've become the monsters we swore to destroy. Hera, what's wrong?
It's just that, now that we know Pandora is back, I guess you won't keep your promise about not getting Baker out of jail. Especially after you hung up the phone on me when you were at Treasury Park.
I did it for your own good.
I know, but honestly, the thought of reliving those days scares me more than running the risk of losing everything, or even Pandora himself. Look what kind of people we're trying to protect.
Let's see, flyer of the Black Bands, a propaganda flyer with Baker's face. On its back, lots of sentences about respect, family, honor, and unity. These flyers have always had dark shades and aimed at exploiting people's fears.
I understand you're doing this for your own good, but when the moment comes, think about the consequences of saving that man. I'm serious when I say your decision could change the entire future of the city.
It's a decision we'll make together, and I won't let anyone hurt you. You know it.
I'm not afraid of dying, Mordred. I'm afraid of losing you. The only demon brave enough to stand beside me when you could have just left me to die on the street.
Hera, you have a very distorted view of me, you know that? You know that, right?
The usual jerk. Never mind. How about filling me in on what happened?
Sit down. This is going to take a while.
Baker's lying too.
Indeed. I need more evidence to push him to tell me what really happened.
Right. I'll be here if you need me.
As the investigation progresses, you'll unlock more conversation topics with Hera. Go back to her when you are stuck or need some help.
Okay, let's go back to the map and let's go to Baker's house.
I knew Baker loved luxury, but that megalomaniac managed to surprise me once again.
Who are you? Who let you in here? This is my house.
Oh, you must be Anne Baker. Your housekeeper let me in. I'm Mordred Foley, and... Anne Baker. Revolution is not meant for the poor. Psychological profile. Vulnerable and submissive. Anne has always been constrained by her family's expectations. Because of this, she always felt the need to depend on someone strong and charismatic. Biography. Anne Baker, maiden name Sherman, was born in an old-fashioned family, preserving their duty and traditions for more than a century, since when they were on English soil. There's no need for you to introduce yourself, your sloppy outfit and that lingering stench of tobacco. You must be one of those dirty journalists trying to disgrace my husband's name even more. You parasites, feeding on the misery of a man who created an empire with the sweat of his brow. Not a damn journalist. I'm the detective hired by your husband.
My husband asked for a detective? Why wasn't I aware of this?
As I suspected, Baker didn't tell her anything. They're hiding things from you in order to protect you, madame, but I'm here because your help could be fundamental to the investigations.
And how am I supposed to help you?
Just answer my questions for now. Let's see, Abigail Sherman. If you're truly convinced of your husband's innocence, why would Abigail testify against him?
What kind of question is that? Someone probably tricked my sister into this, knowing about her relationship with Alicia.
Were they good friends?
More than you think. Alicia was probably the only person who could make Abigail smile.
The victim. What can you tell me about Alicia Hart?
That poor angel. Alicia was a dear friend of my sister. They were both artists, dreaming about shooting a movie together. She used to come here often. She was the only person able to cheer up my beloved Abigail. When Richard realized that, he began to support Alicia's work, hoping to give her a bright future. Obviously, someone spread malicious rumors about an alleged intimate affair between my husband and her, but they are just envious of his kindness. After all, you cannot expect those peasants to be able to comprehend such superb examples of altruism. In fact, some creep killed her, and now my dear Richard is forced to sleep surrounded by those jackrels.
No mask on her face. This woman really believes in her husband's faithfulness. This must be the result of years of brainwashing. She has such a distorted vision of reality. Richard Baker.
My beloved husband has always been a man like no other. Vigorous, valiant, altruistic. Unlike those snakes of the black bands, he always committed himself to peace and equality, fighting for the rights of every citizen. It's just pathetic how the majority of the police force were against him.
You think he might have been framed by his colleagues?
Of course. Who else could ever want to go up against such a good man?
Looking for evidence. To help your husband, I need to search your house. It won't take long, I promise.
No way. My husband is innocent. All you want is to ruin his name and torture my soul. Admit it. Pierce and Finley sent you here. Those filthy...
Madam, I have no idea who these people are.
They are my husband's biggest rivals. Those hypocrites speak of peace but just want to take his place.
I'm wasting my time. I need to convince her to let me investigate around. Hera might have an idea. She's always been better than me at dealing with people.
Okay, let's go back to talk to Hera then.
Anne Baker.
Let me guess, Anne is not quite the angel you imagined.
That woman won't let me touch anything in that damn mansion.
Maybe you should trigger her fears, possibly by showing her something about her husband or the Black Bands.
Leveraging on people's fears? That's my thing.
Why wouldn't Baker tell us the truth? He's the one who hired us.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think he's hiding something about Abigail.
Anne could be the solution to most of our problems. She's the eyewitness's sister, and our client's wife, after all.
Have you already tried talking to her? The glove. Regarding the glove. You always act like a tough man, but the truth is you're soft-hearted. What do you mean? You knew that the glove could have destroyed Freya's career, but that's why you didn't show it to David. The glove is still an open issue, and I honestly don't want to make more enemies, that's all. Let's see here. Got a picture of the victim. Got the lead arrow. Got the man's glove. Got the wrecked bench. Got the knife. Baker's injured hand. Flyer of the black bands. I'm taking a huge leap of faith, but maybe it's worth a try. Do you know what this is? Of course I do. It's a flyer of the campaign of Richard's party. Precisely. On its back you can read some big words like respect, honor, unity, and pride. But apparently they don't have much to do with the majority of the black bands. And you stated many times that your husband has lots of enemies inside both the party and the police force. So tell me, madam, have you ever thought that some of those same enemies could hurt you as well? What? So it's true. They want to kill me too. It's a possibility. If you don't let me investigate, your life will be in danger. Do you understand that? Maybe. Well, I guess you're right. Fine, you're free to investigate around. But please, don't let them hurt me. This poor woman is just a shadow of herself. Maybe I should tell her the truth about Baker. Or maybe I should calm her down so that she doesn't do anything foolish. Alright. But first, you should know that. Reassure her by hiding the truth. Tell her the truth about Baker and Mish's affair. Oh, well, let's not break her little world quite yet. Your husband can't wait to hold you in his arms again. Oh, that silly man, thinking of me despite the situation. Thank you, Detective. You really have a good heart. Poor woman. Forced to live in a 5-star prison made of lies and empty words. The truth would have hurt her too much, and maybe it would have helped her out of this nightmare. Now I'd better investigate. This photo has been turned down. This must be Alicia and Abigail. Those two seem to be really close, so why was the picture turned down? The picture was turned down, so a picture of Abigail and Alicia. The picture was turned down. It perfectly describes the relationship between the victim and the witness. Alicia is holding the old camera she always carries around. There is no fairest flower that the one consumed. There is no fairest flower than the one consumed by ambition. Really? Some drawers containing useless paperwork and old articles about the Black Bands. An old yet still working laptop. Nothing interesting here. Must be Abigail's computer, given the huge amount of... Wait, what are these? Dozens of encrypted mails or emails from a few days before the murder sent to someone called Tapatalk. From the little Greek I know, that I think it means Tataris or something like that. How did Abigail manage to encrypt and send these emails without getting blocked by the security system? Documents. Security. Since its foundation, Nova Palamos has been using Caligula, communication and browsing system mandatory for everyone in the city. Whoever possesses the Patterson, or whoever passes the Patterson test has the right to use it, and the content they create, see, or share is monitored by the police and the Secret Intelligence Service. The system is free and widely accepted due to the high navigation speed and security it provides, but all the elitists of the city who fear strangers and everything that could break their status quo. Importing or using different operating systems is a crime punished with either jail or expulsion. I should probably just ask her as soon as I'm done with Baker. Old data chip. An old support containing several encrypted emails sent to someone called Tatarus a few days before the murder from what seems to be Abigail's computer. Old storage supports are the only way of transferring information in Nova Palamos without getting caught by Caligula's control system. I found far less than I'd hoped. I guess this place has already been cleaned out. Anyway, I think I have enough to expose Baker's lies. Really? I do? Okay. Well, let's do a little bit of traveling then, shall we? The truth. Mr. Baker, it's time for you to tell me the truth about Abigail and Alicia's death. We've already been through this. I didn't see Abigail that night and I already gave you my version of the events. Welcome to the Living Nightmare system. In this game mode, you will have to expose your interlocutor's lies by presenting facts or evidence collected during an investigation. If you submit the wrong evidence 4 or 3 times, it's game over. Choose carefully. Oh god, it's just like playing NG, huh? You're lying through your teeth, my dear Baker. First things first. When you told me about the victim, you never explained how you two had met. It all started when Alicia contacted me for an interview. Nonetheless, she never had any kind of relationship with my family. Are you sure? If your family didn't know her, how can you explain this? This one. Yeah. They seem pretty close for being strangers. Don't you agree, Mr. Baker? I can only imagine how pleased Abigail was when she discovered that her dearest friend had an intimate relationship with her brother-in-law. Alyssa used to come over to our house quite often. She and Abigail were good friends and they were trying to film some sort of documentary together. One night she approached me with an excuse and, well, from that day, Abigail started hating me even more. Her will to testify against me did not take me by surprise. If you wanted to humiliate me, mission accomplished. I still can't understand where your rants are heading. One step at a time. Let's go back to your fight with the killer. You said you heard a girl screaming right before losing consciousness. Exactly what's so strange about this? The attacker could have easily killed you, but instead he decided to run away with no apparent reason. This would be nonsense unless... the killer's Abigail? No. The killer recognized the voice. The killer was already gone. The killer recognized the voice. The killer recognized the voice. And that voice belongs to... Abigail, I guess? What? The look on your face is worth 1,000 words. Damn it! Alright. There was no screaming nor fainting. During the struggle, I grabbed my taser and temporarily paralyzed the killer, so I could escape. I never told anyone because tasers are illegal in Nova Palamus, and I would have risked imprisonment, no matter what. Come on, you can do better than this. Your lies are getting worse. You never used a taser against the killer, and this piece of evidence proves it. He had an injured hand, I guess? The police reported you struggled with the attacker, holding him with your left hand because the right one was severely injured right before. Using any weapon would have been impossible. I don't... This panicking of yours does nothing but reinforce my argument, Mr. Baker. After you were thrown against the bench, Abigail screamed, ran towards you, and distracted the killer so that you could run away from him. That girl saved your life. I cannot hide anything from you. Am I right, detective? It's true. The killer seemed to know her. They were whispering to each other. She was looking quite scared, though. Then I ran away like a coward, leaving her in the clutches of that monster. I have really no clue how she knew him, but I'm sure she's testifying against me because the killer is blackmailing her. So, you think the killer left you both alive to exploit Abigail in court? Pretty much. And so, you contacted me in the hope that I would arrest the wrong person, thus saving both your life and Abigail's. Damn it, that girl has been manipulated by the killer. I must talk to her, now. Just one last thing, Foley. Remember, if something bad happens to Abigail, you're a dead man. This case looks harder than I expected. I must talk to Abigail as soon as possible. Especially about the emails I found on her computer. Maybe she's with Freya. I should probably look for her. Alright, why don't we stop that there. This is Audapostrophe. You've been watching Dry Drowning on Nintendo Switch. I think it's a pretty intriguing game. Obviously, this is more of an investigation game than a visual novel, but you know, it's highly visual novel-esque. Although here you're asked to think on your feet a little bit and examine evidence, and you have some pretty good mechanisms to do so. I think the art's really interesting. The sound's really good. There is a reason why it's been nominated for quite a number of awards. Both for its artistry and its writing. I think all of that's done very well. So if you're interested in this kind of crime drama, this is set in the future too, so obviously it's not going to be totally grounded. There are going to be some things that are going to stretch your imagination, I would think. But overall, I think it's pretty good, and if you want to check it out, you definitely should. On the Switch version, it is a little bit too bad. They couldn't have offered something higher than 1080p for the resolution, because the text is just a little hard to read in some instances, at least in my opinion. So if you have a bad pair of eyes like me, you might want to pick this up on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox. I think it's available on Xbox. I'll have to double check, but if you're okay with the size of the text, or if you want to mess with the options to increase that size, then you can do that, and you can do that on the Switch as well. So, yeah, check it out. We'll keep playing more of it until we get stuck, which inevitably will happen. But I'll try not to use any walkthroughs or guides, so we can go through this just based on the logic that we get from the game. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.